said you ran a 4.4 flat. When did you do that?
Whenever we did our little testing, we did our little second testing to see if we improved in our vertical and our speed, and everybody jumped up.
Did that surprise you a little bit, or did you think you could run that?
I mean, really, we just be out there running the run, see what our times are. So I was excited to run that. They didn't tell us until like 2 days later, though, so had us look.
What was your time last year?
I don't know. We just started doing it this past off season.
Where's your game? Where do you feel like your game's going to continue to improve, Marquez? If you can pinpoint one or two things where you feel like you can be better, what is that?
Probably, kind of on the field, off the field type is my leadership. I know I said it a couple weeks ago, but I still think that's one I need to improve on. Nigel tells me a lot that I needed to step up. I need to step up, and that's what I've been trying to do, focus on.
Marquez, where's the offense have to improve coming out of the scrimmage?
I think us as an offense, we need to improve more on, we need to focus more. I think that's one of our biggest flaws right now. We have too many MAs, so we just straighten up on the MAs. I think would be a more better dynamic offense.
What's the biggest difference you've seen Coach Chaney bring to this offense?
Up tempo, a lot of speed. He wants execution. He wants us to do it right. So if we're not doing it right, we start it all over until we get it right.
And he has a reputation not as like having one particular style, like run and gun or spread or whatever. Just being able to adapt what he wants to do to his players. Have you seen him kind of like tailor that since the spring, find out what you guys can do, and then do more, emphasize that?
He knows in the receiver room. He knows what he's working with, and same with running backs. He knows what he's working with, and he knows what the deal is with the O-line and the quarterback. So we try to do a lot of stuff to either help them out or help us out and try to put us in the best situation.
Were you guys able to generate explosive plays in the scrimmage?
Yes, sir. I think we did a good job of doing that. Obviously, I think we could have done more, but that dies down to details and not messing up on plays. But like we win some, defense wins some too, so we have to try to straighten that out so they don't get as many as we do. I'm sorry.
Marquez, a guy like Chuckwez Jones did very little last year, was kind of just in the background of everything. This year, a little more, assertive, making more plays. What's the difference for him that you see?
Jaquez is a great kid. Obviously, not a lot of people know who he is, but we know who he is. The defense sure knows who he is. So, he does what he can. He knows he can control what he can control. So we try to tell him, do what you can. Everything will fall in place. Coach T's always on him, so it makes him better. And he knows when he messes up. He knows it in his head. He claps. He hits himself in the head, try to get out of it, and he knows he can do better.
What does he bring that's different than maybe what you bring or what Jawan brings? Is there something about his game that maybe is a nice compliment to you guys?
Speed. Every coach wants him for his speed. He knows he's a fast guy. He knows what he can do. He uses what he does. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he knows if he gets an open field or he knows he gets you where he wants, and he knows what he can do with you.
What's been your impression of Warren Burrell in camp so far?
Warren's good. He's a good kid, good player. He's learning, from the defensive guys. We tell him all the time on offense, you're too high, you're giving out. We know when you're bailing. We know when you're pressing. So just having that little, try to help him on our side, tell him what we see, as well as defense.
Why has he been able to play his way into the first couple of groups against the corners where you're matching up against a true freshman in practice sometimes? Why has he been able to do that?
I don't know what they're doing on their side, but for us, I think it's good. It teaches us not to, underestimate opponents, and it teaches him to, go against older guys like us.
You mentioned missed assignments. Why do you think there have been so many?
Just, you get tired going in practice, you lose focus, one signal turns into another signal, you start, losing that kind of sense of urgency that you had at the beginning of practice.
Coach Pruett said that he gave up being the defensive coordinator to build a better relationship with players. Have you seen evidence of that?
Yes, I have. He's more on both sides of the ball instead of being just on defense. And, he always, he's free to do whatever he wants. So he's coming into our meeting rooms, coming in our side of practice. And even if he doesn't know what's going on, he tries to know what's going on so he can be on both sides instead of just one.
As a player, do you appreciate that?
All the time. That's what we like.
Marquez, how much emphasis has there been in you guys getting yards after the catch, and how do you work on something like that?
Coach Teague puts us through drills all the time about high pointing it, catching, ripping it, and landing on your feet and running after catch. And last year, Coach Yak, that's why we called him Yak, because he always wanted yards after catch and just kind of rolled over to Coach Teague. He always tells us the run after catch, the yards after catch. That's how we become catching 400 or 500, becoming 1,000 yards receivers.
Marquez, what's it like being coached by a guy like Coach Martin, who you can see his highlights playing on TV screens around the complex or pictures and stuff like that? How much more weight does they give what he's teaching you guys?
I mean, to me, I think it's great. Having a former SEC champion, national championship, having him back and what he brings. He tells us stories all the time about practice and how his practice is different, how it assimilates to ours. It's just, having another perspective, having his input, especially his input, knowing what he's been through here, it just helps us a lot, especially as receivers.
Marquez, how much do you guys take away from kind of these speakers that Coach Pruett has, comes in like the financial advisor he had in last week?
I mean, everybody comes in and speaks about different things. Some may be financially, some may be like a personal life story, or some just maybe motivational speakers. But we try to take as much as we can, notes, pictures. We follow them, and we try to stay in contact. And Coach always brings up whatever they say. He writes down stuff too, so we just try to implement what they say to our lives.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.